Outstanding, the ultimate accolade for teachers. We challenge secondary history teacher Esther Arnott to go from good to outstanding. A top inspector observes one lesson. 2 experts will fine-tune her practice and help improve her presentation. She also gets comments and advice from teachers across the country who've seen her lesson on the web. Esther then has 2 weeks to put all the advice into action before the inspector comes back for the final verdict.
Every single person on here says something different about the lesson. It's been really useful. On the other hand, it's kind of like, oh, it's quite kind of personal. It's in your space. It's in your kind of classroom, even though you don't even know this person.
Lambton School is a large mixed comprehensive in West London, close to Heathrow Airport. Esther Arnott is a history teacher in her 4th year of teaching.
My previous job was working in PR. I used to think it was hard going, having a deadline in the next couple of weeks and working towards that. But teaching, you have 7 deadlines a day.
Right guys, let's get sorted please. Open your books on a fresh page.
On a good day, I love the fact you can't predict what's going to happen. But that can also be the worst thing about teaching as well.
Has anyone got Sanjay's book?
The history department rates her teaching as good.
I think one of Esther's main strengths is, I would always say, an absolute passion for what she teaches.
This thing goes on a horse.
Esther will focus the challenge of getting to outstanding with her Year 7s.
I think what's interesting about the class is the very, very broad range of abilities. And the class as a whole is very enthusiastic and very lively, which is good, but also poses its own challenges.
Hey everyone, look this way. I think you're getting on well.
Yeah, she's really nice. She gives out merits really easily. She's not too strict, but she is firm when she needs to be.
Okay, so it's really good that you're talking to each other and describing.
Whenever we work, she explains things well, so we understand what she's talking about.
What do good historians do? Can you remember from the very start of the course?
Do they always ask questions?
I don't expect to be the creme de la creme, no way near. I'm certainly not consistent in the amount of time I put into planning versus the amount of time I put into marking. I'm certainly not consistent in the way I actually differentiate my lessons.
I think that for Esther, it's going to be to learn to let go a little bit of the students' learning. I think part of the challenge for Esther is to understand that they don't always need a safety net.
Esther's planning her next lesson on the Norman Conquest.
Kind of resources that I need to plan for are, for my EAL students, I need to make sure that they can access this idea of conquest. It's trying to make it obvious through pictures. I've then got to think about the character cards to write and how to make them accessible for all, but more challenging, more detailed breadth and range of information, so the more able to understanding the nuances of the past.
It's the morning of Esther's observation. With hundreds of inspections under her belt, School Inspector Clare Gillies leads teams up and down the country. She's certain